Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Al Guevara. With us today, the chairperson of the FACE Coalition, Jaime Arizpe. The FACE Coalition, Families Assistance and Community Empowerment Coalition, doing a lot of great things in our community. So thank you very much for joining us today, Jaime.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, we've been talking previously about a program that you have going on called the Drug-Free Communities Support Program, DFC. Can you tell me what exactly that is?
Sure. Westcare is the Westcare Foundation is the program that is supporting this initiative here in Laredo. The Drug-Free Community Support Program is a grant that was awarded for 5 years. And it's an advocacy program that specifically addresses alcohol and drug abuse in our youth here in our community. And it's trying to advocate against those two main issues here in our community.
Now, when you talk about alcohol and drugs, obviously that's pretty wide. I know alcohol readily available, unfortunately,
Right.
but so are drugs. And I imagine a lot of people don't realize that what some of the older folks, right, ourselves
Yes.
included, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you mean that marijuana? No, there's so much more. What kind of
Not,
drugs are
yes.
available now to our youth?
Actually, the two main areas that we focused on were alcohol abuse and marijuana.
Mhm.
But then there's also synthetic marijuana,
Right.
and there's also the opiates that are very prevalent here in our community.
And is that more of an issue now as of late, Jaime?
As of late, yes. Uh, you know, we unfortunately, well, fortunately for us as a community, we're the number one land import
Yeah.
for the commercial goods that pass through our borders. But unfortunately, as well, the drug cartels, as you or a lot of the people know that are listening, might know that we have drug cartel wars, actual wars going on right now. There are two large organizations, the Zetas and the Mexican Mafia, that want this turf because it's a high area for trafficking of drugs and alcohol. I mean drugs. I'm sorry,
Right.
the paraphernalia of drugs, which is mainly cocaine, marijuana, the hard stuff.
Right. Are we
Yeah,
talking like heroin and things like that as
heroin,
well?
all that as well. Yeah,
How big of an issue are prescription drugs in Laredo?
prescription drugs. I don't know if you noticed, but there's been an increase of those. A couple of months ago, there's an article that came out about the increase of those because it's a lot more profitable. It's a lot more easier to get, and the kids, our youth, are very much into that kind of stuff. It's a problem. It's an issue.
Now, is it more of a personal consumption, or are some kids, kind of raiding medicine cabinets and doing their own low level selling? Is
Yeah, there's different parties that are going on. There's parties that are what they call them the they're like just type of parties where you just invite kids over, friends over, and you just drop in your pills from
wow.
your medicine cabinets. You put them in a big dish, and as kids are walking in, they just get whatever, and then they just popping them in.
Man, oh man,
Yeah.
the drug-free community support program is what we're talking about. Now, is there a specific area in Laredo that was chosen as a primary target area for this type of a program?
For
And
well,
why
we chose
exactly?
yeah, the grant was for only 125,000, so it's very low amount
Mhm.
for this type of problem. So we had to choose a zip code area, so to
Okay.
speak. So when we as a coalition got together, we discussed, which of the zip codes we felt were the ones that had most prevalent issues. And the area we chose was the 78046 area, which is the Highway 83 all the way down to El Cenizo and Rio Bravo. And the United Independent School District is the school district that we chose as well.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the grant, they limited us to one school district and one zip code.
Mm.
So that's why we targeted UISD and that specific zip code. If y'all are familiar with Highway 83, it pretty much parallels with the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And El Cenizo and Rio Bravo, actually, they're 1 block or 2 blocks away from the Rio Grande. So that's why we chose that specific area.
And you said you made a very specific point, a very interesting point. This is not to say that there are not issues in any other areas in Laredo,
No,
just that the size of the grant kind of limits
right,
the ability and the scope of the drug-free community support program. So
yeah,
don't feel like, oh, this area is a problem here. It's not. It's a very commonplace area, and I
right.
think people need to remember that we also have to do our part
Yes,
as adults, as parents, as friends, as loved ones. We also have to do our part. Now, how are you using the FACE Coalition, the Families Assistance and Community Empowerment Coalition,
right.
to advocate against this drugs and alcohol abuse amongst our youth?
Yes. We host once a month on the first Wednesday of every month. We host workshops, or you could call it it's a luncheon actually. It initiated as a luncheon first before the COVID in faith, but inviting people and having face-to-face
Yeah.
contact with people, and inviting as the individuals in the community, professionals who are prevalent in either mental health issues or substance abuse issues, and giving information and disseminating information about the topics of different topics of either drugs or alcohol, and the use and the abuse of that amongst our youth, and how to target those areas, and how to help our youth to stay away from those things.
Now, how we know we talked about the actual grant being about 5 years. How far into the grant are you, and what are the
Right.
prospects for future past those 5 years?
Yes. Good, very good question. The initial grant was for 5 years. So we're right now in our third year. And we do have an opportunity to renew the 5 years for another 5. And the premises of how we would get the renewal would be based on how much we succeeded on our objectives for each year. We set up a 12-month plan, action plan, initiative to this objectives and goals that we need to meet in order to meet our goals for our grant.
Is there a specific goal that you have for this particular year for 2021?
Yeah, actually, we do, and we set it up already. We have it in place. Again, because of the COVID-19, we had to kind of become a little bit work outside the box, so to speak. And a lot of the workshops, seminars that we were going to do with students and with the staff, the LCDC staff or the social worker staff from UISD, we had to do it through Zoom,
Okay.
virtual. Now we were fortunate to do 1 whole week for the myths of the myths and the truths of opiates. And Gateway Community Health Center was very good about getting us 2 presenters from Gateway. And we targeted all of the middle schools for United Independent School District, and we gave a whole week of seminars at all of the schools in UISD.
Do you have communication with the governments of El Cenizo and Rio Bravo as well?
We're gonna get there. Initially, we had started some of the talks, but we had a change of new mayors and things
Okay.
of that nature. So we're waiting for them to get settled in, and then we'll be initiating some conversations with them.
How can someone get involved with the FACE Coalition, the Families Assistance and Community Empowerment Coalition, if they would like to become a member or become more proactive in this?
Right.
effort against drugs and
Sure.
alcohol
That's a
abuse?
very good question. We don't have a fee. It's a free access to our coalition. So it's really easy. It's just if they want to email me, it's jarizpe_07 at yahoo.com. Or also, we have two coordinators, Miss Martha Hernandez. She's the coordinator, the project coordinator for DFC, and her email would be martha.hernandez@westcare.com. And then we can then let them know when our meetings are going to be and who's scheduled to begin our presentations for this particular month. For this Wednesday coming, we have the two executive directors, one Ms. Maria Alfonso Sanchez from Border Region and Mr. Manuel Sanchez from Pillar, who are going to be talking about an $8 million award grant that we were given, $4 million each, to help with the COVID-19 issues with mental health. And they will be presenting on those initiatives and how they're going to get started as well.
How important is community involvement by organizations such as, the Gateway Community Health Center or anybody else involved in our community?
It's extremely important. We need to have a lot of involvement from the community because the state, the limitations of the state for each community is extremely very little for our area. Being that we're 200,000 plus in our population, we don't have the needed resources that we would like to have as a community to provide adequate mental health assistance to our residents here in Laredo.
And what kind of advice would you be able to give or suggest to parents and caretakers of teenagers, of the youth? Of course, we're talking about 18 and under when
Yes,
it comes to this particular program, the Drug-Free Community Support Program. What kind of advice would you give to them?
it's very important that they be involved and they be part of their children, their youth. Keep open lines of communication. Uh, be know who their friends are, and talk to them in an open manner, open format. Don't accuse them, but rather than that, just open communications are best. And to get involved in a coalition like this, we do have a parent liaison individual in our coalition. We also have a youth member. We try to have a focus group of youth from each school representative, and also a parent also from each school that is represented, so we can have open forums and we can talk about these issues, because it's best to know from the actual source than from us as to what the problems are.
The chairperson of the FACE Coalition, Jaime Arizpe, talking about the Drug-Free Community Support Program, DFC. I'm going to be sharing your contact information at the end of this
Definitely.
video. So if anybody wants to get involved with the FACE Coalition or in this project that you are undertaking, which I commend you for, because obviously the drug and alcohol problem amongst our youth is something that it's nothing new, but it's
Right.
something that needs to be addressed and needs to be combated on an ongoing basis. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for joining us today
I
on this
appreciate it.
platform. Would you like
Appreciate
to add
it,
anything
Al.
else?
No, thank you again. And for the community, we do have once a month our meetings. It's at noon, from noon to 1. It's an open invitation. We do accept anyone in the community who's interested. And Mr. Guevara will be putting my email information there, so that if you're all interested in joining us, you're welcome to join us. It's only 1 hour long. We know that's a lunch meeting, so we now we don't see anybody eating, so it's no big deal. but but anyway, when we do get together, it's nice because we do have, other than just talking about the issues, then we get to meet and greet, talk about other things. as well.
Exactly. Thank you so much again, Chairperson of the FACE Coalition, Jaime Arizpe. Once again, thank you for what you do, and thank you for joining us today on our platform.
God bless. Thank you.